The phone rang in Logan Reeves's penthouse as rain bruised the Chicago skyline. He almost ignored it. Shareholders wanted blood, but the voice on the line froze him. "Logan," she said, calm as a blade. "After 25 years of silence, you deserve the truth." He gripped the marble counter. "Maya," static sighed, memories surged. "You have sons," she whispered. "They're not rumors. They're real, and one of them needs answers only you can give." The line clicked. The city hummed. Pride, the old fortress he worshipped, crumbled. Logan stared at his reflection and heard the past whisper. "Today, the bill comes due. Before we unravel the truth behind those 25 lost years, do me one favor. If you love powerful emotional storytelling, tap subscribe and turn on notifications. Like this video to boost it to more viewers, and share it with someone who needs a good, heartfelt twist. Drop a comment telling me, should Logan be forgiven or should the past stay buried? Your support keeps these stories alive and helps this channel grow. Ready? Breathe in. Hold tight. We're diving into pride, betrayal, and redemption, the kind that leaves a mark. Let's begin right now. Thanks for being here with me today. Logan Reeves owned the room the way winter owns January. Cold, certain, merciless. In the glass tower above the Chicago River, executives circled him like planets, pulled by gravity and fear. He skimmed projections without blinking, shredded a proposal with one sentence, then checked his reflection in the window instead of the humans behind him. His phone buzzed. He muted it. Family dinners were for ordinary people, and Logan had outgrown ordinary long ago. "We win," he said, dismissing doubts and dissent alike. Pride rode shotgun. Conscience waited in the hallway and wasn't invited in. Tonight, no one could touch him. Across the city, Maya Carter rested a protective hand over the small, stubborn curve of 3 months. She'd texted her husband twice about hearing the heartbeat today. He replied with a thumbs-up emoji and a calendar conflict. At his side lately, Sloane Pierce, an assistant with a smile sharp enough to cut. Maya told herself trust was love with long manners. Still, the empty chair beside the ultrasound haunted her. She folded the printout, kissed it, slipped it into her purse, then breathed. And still, she chose hope. Hope had held them before. Sloane Pierce learned Logan's appetite faster than she learned his calendar. She spoke in bullet points and promises, always leaning just close enough to be useful. Evan Brooks, the CFO, brought measured concerns about debt and overreach. Logan waved him away. "We scale, Evan. Worry less, win more." When Margaret Reeves, his mother, found in between meetings, her voice trembled. "Don't lose your marriage to ambition." Logan smiled like a headline and kissed her cheek without listening. "I'm building a dynasty, Mom." In the mirror's edge, he tried not to see the man she feared he'd become. He smiled anyway. At the Riverfront Gala, cameras softened Logan's edges while the orchestra drowned softer truths. Maya arrived in navy silk, hopeful, steady. Sloane arrived in red, radiant and uninvited to boundaries. Logan announced an expansion, toasted unstoppable momentum, and forgot to introduce his wife. Margaret watched from the second row, grief in pearls. Backstage, Evan murmured about timing. Logan's laugh cut clean. People follow strength. Maya reached for his hand. He adjusted his cuff. A flash pop caught everything. Devotion, distance, denial. Somewhere inside the applause, a hinge loosened, and the door of their life began to open the wrong way. That night in the penthouse, the city glittered like money and mercy had nowhere to sit. Maya showed him the ultrasound printout again. 3 months, Logan. Our child. He studied the photo as though it were a contract and found only clauses to void. "You hold me back," he said. "Sloane understands scale." "You don't." Her breath snagged. "I'm your wife." "Former," he corrected, already texting. A suitcase appeared. Private staff moved like ghosts. He pointed to the door. "You'll have lawyers. You'll have money. You won't have me." Somewhere, a promise broke. Somewhere, a heart learned to harden against itself. 30 minutes later, she made it to the elevator lobby with dignity braided to every step. Then the braid loosened. Blood thudded in her ears. The carpet wavered like water. A concierge called her name. The light smeared. The floor lifted. Maya reached for the railing and caught air instead. The ultrasound slipped from her purse and skated face down. Somewhere beyond, a door chimed and closed. Somewhere within, a small heartbeat kept time, stubborn, steady. Maya fell finally into silence that felt like drowning and rest at once. Sirens rose, thin and far, then closer. White light greeted her, like a cold confession. A nurse tucked a blanket. A monitor answered with patient beeps. St. Gabriel Medical Center. The badge read. Maya asked for water and, finally, for Logan. The nurse's eyes lowered. No messages. No visitors. Hours later, Margaret Reeves arrived, grief fraying her poise. She held Maya's hand and whispered, "I beg him." He wouldn't listen. Maya nodded because there was nothing left to say. Some goodbyes are spoken by silence. Some marriages end in empty chairs. She signed her discharge papers and chose movement over mourning. Her feet remembered the way forward. Denver met her with high blue skies and air that forgave. She rented a modest apartment near Rocky Ridge Medical Center and learned the city by walking at dawn. A neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, pressed casseroles and gentleness into her hands. Maya returned to rounds, to charting, to the steadiness of stitching what could be saved. Each night, she wrote to the future, letters sealed for small hands that would someday grow. She never wrote his name. She wrote the truth that mattered. Love could outwork grief, and work could outlast shame. She would become both harbor and horizon for them, always. Back in Chicago, Sloane's perfume fogged the corners of Logan's office. She fed him victories, then cravings masquerading as strategy. Evan Brooks flagged fragile cash flows. Logan signed bolder loans. "We'll outrun risk," he said and believed it. Margaret tried again over Sunday coffee, hands wrapped around a cooling cup. "You can still fix this." He stared past her at the skyline. He mistook for destiny. Markets reward momentum. The headline the next morning rewarded hubris instead. A competitor had outflanked them. Their stock shivered. Logan ordered a buyback and doubled down. The floor tilted, but he called it a cent. 2 weeks later, the divorce hit the news before the papers hit her porch. Anonymous sources called her unstable, difficult, a drag on vision. Maya read every lie, because naming poison kept it from living inside her. She met the attorney alone, signed where ink requested, and reclaimed her name like a key. Logan never looked back. Sloane never stopped looking forward. Margaret sent a handwritten note. "I believe you. I am here." Maya folded it into her wallet beside the ultrasound. Some storms pass. Others teach. This one did both, and left her standing. She faced west and began again with courage. Winter clammed Chicago in ice, and Logan mistook the chill for normal. Reeves Dynamics announced bold expansions, new markets, louder dreams. Behind the gloss, debt gnawed like termites in polished wood. Evan Brooks filed reports with warnings underlined. Logan filed them under irrelevant. "Courage over caution," he told shareholders, his grin rehearsed. In penthouses, Sloane whispered acquisitions, her hand on his shoulder, her ambition sharper than loyalty. Margaret sat alone at her townhouse window, rereading headlines, mourning a son who confused empire with immortality. Pride burned bright. Pride burned blind. And somewhere in Denver, new life stirred stronger every day. Maya's twins entered the world on a Tuesday morning. Small fists curled like punctuation. Daniel arrived first, quiet but steady, his eyes open as if taking notes. Ryan followed with cry fierce enough to rattle the instruments. Maya held both and wept, exhaustion braided with awe. "We're enough," she whispered. Nurses charted vitals, neighbors dropped flowers, and Mrs. Patterson knitted blankets in blues and greens. Maya wrote another letter that night. "Sons, you were born into silence, but not into emptiness. I will fill the years with strength, so no shadow can claim you." Meanwhile, Logan's nights lengthened. Parties stretched past midnight, deals inked over champagne. Sloane introduced new investors, men who smiled wide but left footprints of calculation. Evan cornered Logan in the boardroom. "We're leveraged to breaking. Pull back." Logan laughed, to sound hollow. History rewards risk-takers. Margaret refused gala invitations, choosing charity boards instead, ashamed of headlines pairing her son with scandal. Logan dismissed whispers of his ex-wife's progress in Denver. She's irrelevant, he told himself. Yet some nights, when city lights blurred, he remembered her steady gaze and the photo of a heartbeat he never framed. He drank deeper. Denver rewarded Maya with rhythm. Mornings began with rounds at Rocky Ridge Medical Center. Evenings belonged to bedtime stories told with lullabies stitched from hope. She carried exhaustion like armor, but never complained. Letters filled a shoebox, one for every birthday milestone storm. She told them of kindness, of perseverance, of choices better than power. Daniel learned words quickly. Ryan climbed furniture faster. Mrs. Patterson clapped at first steps. Colleagues marveled at her resilience. Maya looked west sometimes, wondering if Logan ever glanced east. Then she turned back to her boys. They were direction enough. 2 years later, whispers turned to tremors at Reeves Dynamics. Analysts noted missed targets. Creditors demanded meetings. Sloan suggested doubling risk, calling weakness the real failure. Logan agreed. His pride a leash she tugged easily. Evan threatened resignation if ignored again. Logan smirked. Plenty line up for your job. Margaret intervened once more, begging her son to reconsider. But his ears were walled with ego. By winter, headlines screamed collapse. Stock plummeted. Boardrooms brimmed with fury. Sloan vanished, selling secrets to competitors. Evan was named interim CEO. Logan, dethroned, wandered his penthouse alone. The silence echoed louder than applause ever had. Pride rotted. In Denver, Maya rocked her sons beneath a patchwork quilt, humming through exhaustion. Letters became longer, telling truths disguised as fairy tales. She wrote of dragons named Arrogance, castles built on sand, queens who chose survival over crowns. Daniel listened with wide eyes. Ryan tugged at her necklace and laughed. She learned joy didn't erase scars, but coexisted beside them. One night, Mrs. Patterson found her crying softly at the kitchen table. "You're not alone," the neighbor whispered. Maya smiled through tears. Tomorrow, the twins would need her strong again. And she was. Logan discovered a farewell letter by accident, tucked into an old desk drawer. Maya's handwriting unfurled steady as her voice once had. "I will not raise children where love is currency and pride the landlord. Goodbye." The paper shook in his hands. For the first time, Logan tasted regret, not his theory, but his iron in his mouth. He poured whiskey, but it burned empty. He called Sloan, no answer. He called board members, voicemail. He called his mother, silence. Alone, he stared at the skyline, realizing the empire he built was hollow scaffolding. Love had been the foundation. 25 years thinned quickly. Daniel grew precise, steady, practicing medicine with hands like calm rivers. Ryan grew bold, charismatic, chasing ventures with energy that made investors lean closer. Both carried their mother's resilience, though their questions deepened with age. Maya finally handed them the shoebox of letters. They read in silence, pages turning like clocks. Daniel clenched his jaw. Ryan asked, "Who is he?" Maya breathed heavy, then told the truth. Logan Reeves, once a man of towers, now a shadow in Chicago. The twins exchanged glances, determined, unsettled. Answers, long avoided, waited across state lines. 1 month later, at routine screenings, doctors found an anomaly in Ryan's blood work, rare genetic, requiring deeper family history. Maya's pulse stuttered. The attending physician asked for paternal records. She shook her head, 25 years of silence pressing like stone. That night, she pulled out her phone, stared at Logan's old number still etched into memory. Daniel urged caution. Ryan demanded clarity. "We need answers, Mom." Finally, trembling, she dialed. When Logan's voice answered, disbelief cracked it. "Maya." She closed her eyes. "You have sons. One needs your history." The line buzzed, connecting past arrogance to present necessity. Logan dropped into a chair as though gravity doubled. "Sons," he whispered, echo more than voice. Memories surged. Maya's ultrasound photo, Her steady gaze, the letter that still burned his drawer. He asked their age. 25, she said, and the number hit harder than any headline. He demanded proof. She gave him a hospital name. Come if you care. The line clicked. He stared at his reflection in the glass. Older, thinner, haunted. Pride had been expensive. 25 years costlier still. He grabbed his coat. For once, business could wait. A reckoning had arrived, and he could not defer it. Chicago greeted him like an old adversary. Glass towers reflecting every mistake. Logan's driver whispered questions he ignored. At St. Gabriel Medical Center, he signed visitor paperwork with hands steadier than his heart. A nurse led him down hallways washed in antiseptic light. Then he saw them, 2 young men, tall, proud, unmistakably his. Daniel's steady posture, Ryan's restless energy, mirrors of traits he once flaunted. Maya stood between them, calm but resolute, a fortress in heels. Logan's throat closed. For the first time in decades, he realized legacy wasn't buildings. Legacy stared back with eyes. Ryan's jaw tightened first. So you're him, he said, voice sharp enough to cut glass. Logan swallowed. Yes. Daniel crossed his arms, eyes drilling holes. You abandoned her. You abandoned us. Logan lifted his hands like surrender. I didn't know, Maya interrupted. You knew enough. You chose arrogance. Nurses passed. The hallway pulsed. Margaret Reeves appeared, aged but steady, pearls still her armor. She touched Ryan's shoulder, then looked at her son. I warned you. Logan's knees wavered. He wasn't the king of boardrooms here. He was a defendant, and the jury was blood. Silence pressed heavy as judgment. Inside the consultation room. The consultation room smelled of paper and waiting. Charts lay open. Ryan's lab results a red circle on the page. Daniel explained, crisp and clinical, though anger trembled beneath. Genetic marker, paternal side. We need your history. Logan stared, realizing his absence was now a threat to their survival. I'll get whatever you need. Ryan scoffed. Convenient now. Maya sat opposite him, posture regal, gaze unflinching. This is not about you, Logan. This is about them. Logan nodded, shame flooding. For the first time, giving wasn't control, it was obligation. Margaret clasped Maya's hand, eyes shimmering. I always believed you. Maya squeezed back, grateful for an ally decades late. Logan watched, hollowed, realizing his mother had chosen dignity over loyalty to him. I was blind, he admitted softly. Daniel's reply cut sharp. You were selfish. Ryan leaned forward, fire in a stare. You ruined her, and you expect applause for regret? Logan's lips trembled. I expect nothing, but I hope for time. Maya stood, motioning for her sons. We came for history, not healing. Don't mistake the two. Logan's chest caved with silence. Night folded over Chicago as the family left the hospital. Logan remained in the consultation room, staring at empty chairs. His reflection in the glass showed gray hair, thinner shoulders, hollow eyes. He pressed palms against the table, fighting dizziness. Margaret returned quietly. You're sick. He laughed bitterly. Sick with regret. She shook her head. No, your heart. You ignored the doctor's report about yourself. Logan blinked. What? She slid a paper forward. Test results he dismissed months earlier. Cardiomyopathy. Silent, serious. For the first time, Logan feared not losing markets, but losing time. The next morning, morning light exposed the penthouse like a crime scene. Empty champagne bottles, contract unsigned, silence thick as dust. Logan sat at the marble counter, the same place the call had come. He traced cracks in stone, wondering when they formed. Pride once filled the space. Now only echoes remained. He dialed Sloane's number out of habit, disconnected. Evan Brooks had replaced him on every headline. His sons had walked away. His mother's disappointment hung like smoke. And still, in Denver, letters waited. Truths penned decades ago. Logan whispered, Maya, I was wrong. The city didn't answer. Cities rarely do. Daniel returned to Denver restless. flipping through Ryan's medical files by lamplight. "We'll need him," he admitted reluctantly. Ryan scoffed. "Need is history, not him." Maya sat between them, the weight of 25 years carved into her spine. He has answers only he can give, but forgiveness is not owed. Ryan exhaled, softer this time. "I just want to see him broken." Maya stroked his hair, memories of small curls flashing. "You did, but broken doesn't always mean better." Silence stretched, tender and sharp, until Daniel whispered, "What now?" No one had an answer. Logan walked into St. Gabriel 2 days later for his own tests. The doctor's words confirmed Margaret's warning. His heart was failing, time tightening around him like rope. He sat in the parking lot, staring at the skyline. For years, he thought immortality was glass and steel. Now it was fragile muscle, ticking against betrayal and regret. He imagined Daniel's cold eyes, Ryan's fury, Maya's strength. He wondered if they would ever allow him a sliver of chance. For the first time, Logan prayed, not for markets, but for minutes. Minutes to mend something broken. 1 week later, Maya opened her mailbox to find an envelope with Logan's handwriting. Inside, medical history, detailed and unflinching, along with a letter. "I cannot erase 25 years, but I can give what's left of me. My pride built towers. My pride also buried love. I beg you, let me try before silence swallows me too." Maya folded it, her pulse uneven. Ryan read it first, scoffing. Now he begs. Daniel studied it longer, whispering, "He's dying." Maya set the letter down, eyes distant. Forgiveness was not simple arithmetic. It was a battlefield of heartbeats. Margaret called that evening, voice fragile. "He wants to see you all. One dinner. No lawyers, no media." Maya hesitated, memories colliding like glass. Daniel urged, "We should hear him out." Ryan shook his head. "We already did. He wasted his chance." Maya rubbed her temples. "This isn't about him. It's about whether we can live with silence forever." Outside, Denver's lights twinkled, forgiving no one, forgetting nothing. The decision wasn't about reopening wounds, but deciding if scars should speak. She exhaled, steady, "One dinner. Then we decide." The twins exchanged uncertain looks. Chicago's winter wind knifed through coats as Maya and the twins approached the Reeves family estate. The mansion stood like a fortress of glass and stone, glittering but cold. Margaret greeted them warmly, relief softening her face. Logan waited inside, thinner, paler, his arrogance dimmed though not erased. He rose slowly, hand trembling at the sight of his sons. "Daniel, Ryan," he said, voice cracking. Ryan's glare answered sharper than words. Daniel hesitated, silent. Maya remained composed, regal in her calm. Dinner waited, but forgiveness wasn't on the menu. Only confrontation was. The table stretched long, set with silver and crystal, but silence was the loudest guest. Logan cleared his throat. "I made mistakes, unforgivable ones. I see that now." Ryan cut him short. "See it now? 25 years too late." Daniel leaned back, studying him clinically, as though Logan were a case study. Maya sipped water, unflinching. Margaret tried to ease the air. "We are here to listen. That is enough for tonight." Logan looked at Maya. "I should have fought for us." She met his gaze. "You fought for yourself." Silence returned, heavier than before. Logan's fork trembled against porcelain. "I've been diagnosed. Cardiomyopathy. My time may be shorter than I thought." Ryan scoffed. "So now you want sympathy?" Logan's eyes watered. "No, I want truth between us before I'm gone." Daniel shifted, torn between anger and medical empathy. History can't be rewritten with a diagnosis. Maya placed her napkin down, every word measured. "Illness doesn't erase cruelty. You cast me out pregnant, alone. You let lies define me. You never once looked back." Logan bowed his head. For the first time, the empire builder looked small and mortal. Margaret spoke firmly, her pearls trembling against her blouse. "Your father was blind, but blindness doesn't erase blood. You too are Reeves as much as Carter." Ryan's voice sharpened. "Blood doesn't buy love." Daniel added, quieter, "But it does complicate everything." Logan whispered, "Let me at least tell you my story." Maya's eyes blazed. "You told your story when you threw me out." The chandelier flickered above them like a witness to sins. Margaret pressed her lips. Dinner plates cooled, untouched. What they consumed instead was bitterness, thick and undeniable. After dinner, they moved to the study, firelight battling winter shadows. Logan poured water, not whiskey, a sign Margaret noticed as a prize. He gestured to a framed photo of himself younger, victorious. That man thought he was untouchable. Ryan muttered, "He was wrong." Logan nodded, "Yes," and his pride destroyed him. "It cost me my company, my family, and nearly my soul." Daniel crossed his arms, guarded. "Words are easy. Where were you when Mom collapsed? When we were born?" Logan's voice cracked. "I didn't come. I was a coward." The fire hissed, echoing their silence. Maya stood near the bookshelves, spine straight, face unshaken. "Coward is too generous. You chose cruelty." Logan met her gaze, his eyes rimmed red. "I know. I live with it every day." Ryan clenched his fists. "Do you? Or are you just afraid of dying alone?" Daniel watched carefully, conflicted. Margaret interjected softly, "He is afraid. But maybe fear can finally teach him what pride never did." Logan whispered, "I don't expect forgiveness. I only hope for a chance to witness what I threw away." Daniel's jaw tightened. Ryan's eyes stayed fiery. The clock ticked, measuring the silence. Logan turned to his sons. "Tell me about your lives. I want to know." Ryan folded his arms. "Why? You didn't care before." Daniel hesitated, then spoke. "I'm a physician. Emergency medicine. I chose healing where you chose conquest." Logan's lips trembled. "I'm proud of you." Daniel's face hardened. "Don't be. You didn't build me." Ryan finally spoke, voice dripping with defiance. "I run my own firm, built from scratch. No Reeves money, no Reeves name." Logan's chest ached, but not from illness, from the truth hammering him raw. Maya exhaled, her voice calm but razor sharp. "There are men despite you, not because of you." Logan nodded, every word cutting deeper. "I deserve that." Margaret touched his shoulder. "And still they're your sons." Ryan shook his head. He lost that title the day he chose Sloan over Mom. Logan's stomach twisted at the name, ghosts of Sloan's betrayal rushing back. He whispered, "She left too. She took everything." Daniel shot back, "And whose fault was that?" Logan's chest tightened, a grim reminder that some pains were punishment, others simply overdue payment. The confrontation deepens. Logan's hand pressed against his chest, breath shallow. Maya stepped forward instinctively, then stopped. Daniel noticed, instincts as a doctor awakening. "Sit down," he ordered, voice firm. Logan obeyed, sweat beading. Margaret clutched his arm, fear flashing. Ryan looked away, torn between fury and concern. The silence broke with monitors beeping faintly in memory of past hospitals. Logan gasped, "Don't call an ambulance, I'll be fine." Daniel scowled. "You're not fine. You're sick, and still you pretend strength." Logan's chest heaved, pride battling weakness. For once, pride was losing. His body made sure of it. Daniel fetched water, steady hands betraying a conflicted heart. "You need consistent care," he said coldly. Logan's lips twitched. "Will you be my doctor?" Daniel's silence was louder than refusal. Maya folded her arms. "You don't deserve his care," Margaret whispered. "But he may need it." Ryan slammed his fist on the table. "Why should we save him? He never saved us." The room pulsed with decades of pain. Logan whispered, voice breaking, "Because I want to live long enough to watch you, not control you." Silence returned, sharp as glass. The fire snapped in the study, shadows jittering across faces. Logan leaned forward, voice hoarse. "I don't ask for forgiveness. I ask for presence. Let me watch. Let me learn who you became." Daniel's lips pressed in, weighing compassion against betrayal. Ryan sneered. "Presence now? We grew without you. Maya crossed her arms, unmoved. Presence isn't earned in dying hours. It's built in living years. Margaret looked at her grandsons, her voice steady. Sometimes presence isn't for him. It's for you to close doors properly. Silence rippled, each heart struggling with truth's weight. Daniel finally spoke. If I help you medically, it's obligation, not reconciliation. Logan nodded. I'll take it. Ryan exploded. You'll take it? You'll take anything. Like you took Mom's dignity. His voice cracked, fist clenched. Maya placed a hand on his arm. Enough. Logan's eyes brimmed. I ruined everything. I won't deny it. But watching you both, knowing you exist, it's the only victory I have left. Daniel glanced at Ryan, tension thick. Margaret whispered, hatred builds walls. Truth builds bridges. Which will you leave behind? The room pulsed, the choice dangling heavy in the air. Later that night, snow sifted across the driveway as Maya and her son stepped into the cold. Breath rose like ghosts. Ryan muttered, this was a waste. Daniel adjusted his coat. Maybe not. Maya stayed silent, her eyes distant. Margaret followed them outside, clutching her shawl. He's breaking, boys. Pride's gone. Illness stripped him. Don't let bitterness strip you too. Ryan barked. He earned our bitterness. Margaret's lips trembled. But you'll carry it, not him. Daniel studied the ground. Torn. Maya exhaled long, the air sharp. 25 years of silence weighed heavier than fresh snow. Back inside, Logan sat alone at the study table. His chest ached, but emptiness hurt worse. He stared at the old family portrait. Maya beside him, younger, hopeful. He whispered to the glass, I destroyed us. For once, no shareholders, no assistants, no applause. Only silence echoing. He picked up a pen and began writing a letter, hand shaking. To my sons, pride is poison. I drank it and drowned. Don't inherit it. He folded it carefully, as though paper might redeem him. But paper doesn't hug. Paper doesn't forgive. Paper only records. In Denver, Daniel reviewed Logan's medical file, brows furrowed. He needs consistent treatment or he won't last. Ryan slammed the fridge shut. Let him rot. Daniel sighed. I'm not defending him. I'm stating facts. Maya watched quietly, stirring tea. I don't want you bound by his mistakes. But I won't force you either. Ryan's voice cracked. Why now? Why do we have to decide anything? Daniel leaned back. Because time won't wait. Maya placed her cup down. Whatever you choose, choose it for yourselves, not for him. The brothers exchanged sharp, uncertain glances. 1 week later, Logan shuffled through the hospital corridor, weakness evident. Daniel stood waiting, lab coat crisp, jaw set. You kept the appointment, Daniel said flatly. Logan nodded. Because you asked. Daniel led him into an exam room, professional, detached. Tests followed, Logan obedient, silence heavy. At last, Daniel murmured, You're worse than I thought. Logan smiled weakly. Story of my life. Daniel didn't laugh. Ryan appeared in the doorway, arms crossed, fire still burning. He tricked you into this? Daniel met his eyes. No, I chose it. Logan stared between them, chest tight with irony. Ryan's glare didn't waver. Choosing him means betraying Mom. Daniel shook his head. It means being a doctor, not his son. Logan lowered his gaze. Listen to me argue over scraps of presents. His voice cracked. Ryan snapped. You don't get presents. You lost it. Logan coughed, chest rattling, and Daniel steadied him instinctively. Margaret arrived, her voice soft. Sometimes presence isn't for him. It's for you to know you did right. Ryan stormed out, footsteps echoing like verdicts. Daniel finished charting silently, torn between blood and duty, father and patient, hate and humanity. Outside, Ryan paced under gray skies. Maya approached, scarf tied around her neck. You're angry? He laughed bitterly. Angry is too small. She nodded. You want justice. He spun. Justice doesn't exist for people like him. Maya's voice softened. Maybe not, but peace does. Ryan clenched his jaw. Peace feels like surrender. She touched his shoulder. No, peace feels like freedom. He exhaled, chest heaving, torn between vengeance and release. Across the glass, Logan coughed again, fragile. Ryan stared, the reflection merging father and son, each broken in different ways. Choices pressed harder. That evening, Logan's penthouse echoed with emptiness. He sat with Margaret, firelight brushing wrinkles deeper. They'll never forgive me. She sipped tea. Forgiveness isn't always the point. Sometimes it's acknowledgement. He frowned. Acknowledgement doesn't keep you company. She met his gaze. Neither does arrogance. Logan sighed. You think Maya ever loved me? Margaret's voice cracked. She did. And you burned it. Silence stretched. Logan's chest tightened and he winced. Margaret reached for his hand. Logan whispered, If I die like this, let them know I tried. Margaret's tears fell silently onto the cooling porcelain cup. In Denver, Maya unfolded Logan's letter again, rereading his trembling words. Daniel watched from the doorway. You kept it. She nodded. Sometimes words weigh less than silence. Ryan entered, scowling. Why read his lies? Maya folded it carefully. Because lies sometimes confess truths by accident. Ryan rolled his eyes. He doesn't deserve us. Daniel whispered, Maybe, but do we deserve carrying him forever? Maya's gaze softened. I won't tell you what to choose, but I'll remind you you are not him. The room thickened with unshed tears and uncertain futures. The following weekend, Margaret arranged one final gathering at the Reeves estate. Logan sat in the parlor. Frielier now, medical tubes discreetly hidden. When Maya and the twins entered, silence blanketed the room. He stood with difficulty. Thank you for coming again. Daniel adjusted his glasses, professional but distant. Ryan leaned against the wall, arms crossed. Maya's face remained carved from calm resolve. Logan inhaled slowly. I don't want to rewrite history. I want to face it with you here. If words are all I have left, let them be true. Ryan laughed bitterly. Truth? You wouldn't know truth if it knocked down your empire. Logan nodded, taking the blow. You're right. For years, pride told me I was untouchable. Pride lied. I lost everything that mattered. He looked directly at Maya. I see you now, clearer than I ever did. You carried our sons when I should have carried you. Daniel whispered. Too late. Logan's lips trembled. Yes, but still I speak it. Margaret dabbed her eyes silently. The fire snapped. Truths hung heavy. Not enough to heal, but enough to echo through generations. The dining hall. Dinner was served again, though none touched the food. Logan clasped his hands. Veins prominent. I used to think legacy was buildings. Reeves dynamics. Towers of glass. But legacy is this table. Ryan scoffed. You abandoned your legacy. Logan's voice cracked. I did, and it ruined me. Daniel muttered. It ruined Mom, too. Logan bowed his head. I know, and I'll never deserve her strength. Maya spoke calm as stone. Strength wasn't a gift to you. It was a shield against you. Ryan glanced at his mother, admiration blazing. Logan swallowed regret. Tasting only ash, Margaret lifted her glass, voice trembling, to truth, to facing it no matter how late. Daniel raised his slowly, hesitating. Ryan kept his arms folded, refusing. Logan stared at them, his chest tightening. I don't expect your love, he whispered. I only beg you not to inherit my pride. Silence thickened, the clink of Margaret's glass lonely in the air. Maya studied Logan, her face unreadable. Daniel finally set his glass down. Ryan turned away. Logan exhaled shakily, realizing redemption might never arrive. But perhaps warning his sons was enough to matter. Later, Logan retreated to his study, collapsing into a chair. Papers scattered, his pen rolled to the floor. Margaret lingered in the doorway. They may never forgive, she said softly. Logan smiled weakly. Then I die honest, not applauded. She approached, touching his shoulder. Honesty is more than you gave them before. He closed his eyes. If I had listened to you, maybe, she interrupted gently. Maybe isn't real. This moment is. Logan nodded faintly. Regret pressed heavy, but so did relief. Confession had been offered. Whether received or not wasn't his to control. The hospital again. Logan's condition worsened quickly. Machines hummed beside him in a sterile hospital room. Daniel stood over the bed, chart in hand. Ryan lingered by the window, fists in pockets. Maya sat near the door, distance deliberate. Logan opened his eyes, struggling. I don't deserve this chance. But thank you for being here anyway. Daniel adjusted the four, clinical. This is duty. Ryan snapped. And pity? Logan shook his head faintly. No, it's presence. And presence is more than I gave. The room quieted. Even pity, even duty, felt heavier than the silence once did. Maya rose, approaching the bed. Her gaze stayed cold, but her voice softened. I don't forgive you, but I don't hate you either. Hate takes too much. Logan's eyes glistened. That's more than I expected. Ryan turned sharply. Don't mistake mercy for acceptance. Daniel nodded faintly, agreeing. Margaret touched Maya's arm, whispering, You saved them. That's legacy. Maya exhaled, tension loosening. Logan closed his eyes, whispering, Still, thank you. Silence pressed. But this time it wasn't hollow. It was layered with truths finally spoken. Even if forgiveness would never follow. Ryan stepped closer, his voice low but firm. You don't get my love, but I'll hear you if you speak. Logan's lips trembled. That's all I wanted, your ears, your eyes, a chance. Daniel scribbled notes, hiding conflict. Margaret smiled faintly. See? Even fury opens a door. Logan whispered. Doors were always my weakness. I closed them instead of walking through. Maya folded her arms. You'll leave them open now, if only for them. Logan nodded weakly, the truth heavier than his illness. His empire meant nothing. 2 sons meant everything. And they weren't his yet. Final night. Logan stood at his window one last time, city lights sprawling beneath him. He whispered to glass, 25 years gone, but maybe not wasted if they learn from me. He placed a final letter on his desk. To Daniel and Ryan, I was arrogant, and arrogance devoured me. Don't inherit my ruin. Build love, not towers. Margaret entered quietly, watching him fold into the chair, exhaustion overtaking pride. He smiled faintly at her, weary but honest. For once, silence didn't feel like power. It felt like consequence, and perhaps faintly release. The next morning, Daniel and Ryan read the letter together. Daniel's jaw tightened. Ryan's eyes softened despite himself. Maya watched quietly, her hand resting on the box of sealed letters she had written across decades. He admitted it. Daniel whispered. Ryan muttered, Too late. But he didn't rip the paper. He folded it carefully. Maya exhaled, her voice steady. We can't change the past, but we can decide the weight we carry forward. The brothers exchanged a look, different, conflicted, but connected. For the first time, silence ended. Not forgiven, not forgotten, but ended. That evening, they found Logan waiting in the same study, weaker but standing. His eyes widened at their return. You came back, he whispered. Daniel nodded slowly. To end this, Ryan stepped forward, voice steadier than before. We forgive you, not to erase what happened, not to live together again, but so you and we can finally rest. Maya's tone was calm but resolute. Carry peace at last, Logan. That is all we offer. Tears slid down his cheeks. For the first time in 25 years, silence lifted. Forgiveness had arrived, fragile but undeniable.